Yeah, August. This is like December, so I guess 4 months ago, I I I I was out biking with my wife, cycling. We
Yes.
cycle and
Mm-hmm.
felt really just a tiny burning sensation in my chest. And I'm generally considered pretty fit. I've kept my weight down, and I do a lot of cycling for exercise. Um, in a good summer, I'll get in 50 to 100 miles a week.
Wow.
So I had a little chest pain, like a burning thing, but I kind of wrote it off because I'd had it off and on for several weeks. Kind of felt like it was heartburn, and
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes later it'd go away. So
Right.
we just started out on our ride, and about 3 miles out, I could tell it was different. My breathing was labored, and I was sweating, and it was early in the morning. So I pulled over, told her, "Hey, I think we probably need to go. I don't think I'm well. I don't know what's happening, but I need to go
Mm-hmm.
get looked at." We rode back 3 miles back.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't that bad, and really went and got an EKG from my doctor, and he said you should probably go to the emergency room, and I did. Got another EKG. Crazy thing is, by that time it was gone. The pain was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Scale of 1 to 10, I would put it as a 1. It wasn't
Yeah.
what I imagined a heart attack was. I got physicals every year. My cholesterol levels have always been good. My blood pressure is always good. I had an EKG 3 years ago, and it was fine. Actually, a stress EKG.
Mm-hmm.
So when they looked at me in the hospital, they go, "You need surgery," and I had basically 100% blockage in the main artery and two 90% blockages. So this is like surreal,
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I suspected this, or anybody that knew me suspected this, because I'm pretty fit.
Right.
And I think it scared a lot of people, like, this can happen to Chuck, A good friend of mine went and got a physical the next day, because, they saw that I was taking care of my body. And so anyway, I had quadruple bypass the next morning. And in the cat, when they do the catheter and you look at your heart on the screen there, my body had built a couple of bypass arteries, and that's probably why I wasn't feeling bad. Artery blockage happens over time. They say it could have been 20 years in the making.
Right.
And the bypass arteries had kept the blood flow going. Some believe because I was doing strenuous exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I did a 65-mile ride 2 weeks prior to that. Never felt any fatigue. Normal speed, normal distance.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a shock. And the surgery went great. I was about a week in ICU. Came home. And I've honestly, I had to be very careful for 6 weeks because they cut your chest open, and you have to squeeze everything to get up and down. There's a little harness they give you, and
Right.
pretty helpless like that. My wife had to help me get out of bed. She was great. So about 6 weeks, I wore that. Couldn't drive, couldn't ride in the front seat. If you've had heart surgery, you understand the process. It's pretty normal. I did about 12 weeks of cardiac rehab, and, I'm done. I'm ready to go and feel good.
Feeling good.
Rode 18 miles the other day, felt good. I don't
Praise
feel
God.
any side effects. So I don't know all that God has. I've asked the Lord to help me understand what's going on here, and I believe He's made it clear I'm not going to see it all right now. He has not. A lot of times He explains things to me. He said, "There's things I'm not going to tell you now. You'll see down the road."
Sure.
I do believe He did show me this was going to be a good and necessary confinement for me. So for 3 months, I was not able to be active per se, like ride bikes. We have horses, not ride horses. Limit my travels. And I had felt from the Lord that I was to do some writing. And kind of what I felt in my spirit when I prayed about it, it kind of like Paul in prison,
Right. Yeah.
Well, I'm in prison now. I can't go anywhere,
Bring
I'm
the
a
pen
pretty
and
active
paper.
guy, and I'm confined, and some pretty good stuff came out of that
Yeah, it did.
season of confinement.
Got a few letters out.
Yeah, it's got some good stuff. Some of the richest things ever written. So I have just been focusing on that, and trying to get these books finished.